Ladies and gentlemen, this is a story that came out in the New York Times, December 30th, 2019. Now, the Census Bureau, they do sort of a count at the end of the year. And they found that there were really no gains in the population at all here in the US. We have less immigrants coming to the country now, fewer births. We know about the low birth rate, and a large baby boomer age population. And this is all going on simultaneously, which is making a lot of people nervous in this country, especially if you are part of a group that is experiencing a low birth rate. So they said the United States pace for population growth has slowed down dramatically. And it is due to the immigration situation, births, and a baby boomer population, which is now the largest in the country. So once they're gone, all of these other populations are going to be so much smaller. So they released estimates on a national and state level to determine, and they said this will give them sort of a blueprint for how the US Census will look once it's conducted in 2020. So these numbers that they're giving you just serves sort of like a buffer type thing. So this will determine how many congressional seats are needed for states, state electoral votes, and federal funding formulas, depending on the population in your state. So here are some of the key findings. The US population, which is now 328,239,523, grew by 0.5% from July 1st, 2018 to July 1st, 2019. The natural increase, which factors in the number of births and deaths, was fewer than 1 million. For the first time, it has dropped below the figure in decades, the census said. Okay, so the Census Bureau did an estimate. Boy, that is not any growth whatsoever. 0.5%? That's it? Woo! Man, that's bad. I think that's the worst I've seen. Even back when Trump went into office, I don't think it was quite that bad. But it was bad, though. It was bad. Okay, William H. Frey, a noted demographer and senior fellow at the Brookings Institute, said in an interview Monday that the percentage increase was the lowest in a century. The growth rate during the most recent decade was about 6.7%. Is expected to be the lowest since the government started taking the population counts around 1790, he said. This is a huge downturn in the nation's growth, Mr. Frey said. This is even lower than the Great Depression. Damn, what? The birth rate now is lower than the Great Depression? Woo, that is big. An immigration slowdown, yes. And this is largely due to the policies that Trump has in place. It has greatly slowed down immigration in the country. It's not quite as many new immigrants coming like it was before. Census watchers say one of the biggest reasons for the stagnancy of the population is the decrease in the number of new immigrants, a trend that has continued through President Trump's first 3 years in office. The addition of an estimated 595,348 immigrants to the population in 2019, a stark contrast to 3 years ago, when the country added more than 1 million immigrants, according to the population data. Well, that actually makes sense when you go back to the story I did on the Hispanic population dropping dramatically in birth in the country. It's not as many of them here. So that would make sense. That would make sense now that I read this, you know, that because it said they are now dropping dramatically in population. Now you see why. That is a big drop to go from 1,000,000 to 595,000. The immigration is really the safety valve for us going forward. No, it's not. No, it's not. Europe has also, all the places where they have low birth rate in Europe, they were heavily depending on immigration to kind of pick up the slack for the lack of births. It's not working. It's not working, ladies and gentlemen. It's not. Immigration is not the answer. All right, just look at Europe. They've been trying to count on immigrants for decades now, and their numbers are horrible over there. Okay, I think immigration is an important part of what we have to think about going forward. Well, Mr. Frey, whoever you are, you need to look at Europe because immigration did not help them at all. Millennials delay having children. And I've done this story too many times in the past. In 2019, there were 3,791,712 births and 2,835,038 deaths, which meant that 956,674 people were added to the country's population estimate, the smallest increase of the decade. As baby boomers approach retirement and as many millennials wait to have children, the population slowdown is expected to continue, demographers say. California exodus. Yes, I got a story on this one. There are right now, there is a mass exodus of people leaving out of California. And even the governor is acknowledging it. I have that in another story. California lost over 400,000 residents under the age of 18 during the past 9 years, according to the Census Bureau. The decline could cost the state one of its 53 seats in the United States House of Representatives during the next congressional reappointment, Mr. Frey said. For the fourth straight year, New York lost population, according to the Census Bureau. It was one of 10 states to go through a decline during the past year, a group that included New Jersey and Connecticut. That's because the cost of living is too damn high. I know why people are leaving. And ladies and gentlemen, it goes back to me telling you everything is overpriced. For real. Everything is overpriced all across the country. They are literally pricing people out of apartments and homes in this country. And I don't see how they can keep this up as the baby boomers die out and you have more houses on the economy than a population that can buy them up. That's going to be a big problem. And if you continue with these huge ass price tags that many of these houses aren't even worth, this is just a thing that's done out of greed, you're going to have a big problem. You're going to implode economically. You can't sustain this stuff on the prices that they're asking for. It's ridiculous. The top 5 states in percentage population gains were Idaho, Nevada, Arizona, Utah, and Texas. Puerto Rico's population stabilizes. Puerto Rico gained 340 people from 2018 to 2019, which census officials says was the first year of the Commonwealth hasn't lost population in 7 years. The island has been beleaguered by natural and financial storms. Through migration between 2018 2019 was large enough to increase the population this year. Puerto Rico's population remains below where it was at the start of the decade. Sandra Johnson, a Census Bureau demographer and statistician, said in a statement. So, you know what, ladies and gentlemen, these changes are going to occur. It don't matter what these people do. These things are going to have to occur in order for change to take place on the earth. Plain and simple. There's no other way of doing it. In order for it to be done, a group of people are going to have to be eliminated, and the other groups are going to have to survive. That's the only way it can be done. And all throughout history, if you look, it has always been different groups of people leading the world. And there's no such thing as a group of people that lead forever. Now, I've heard that term, that kind of talking coming from people. Don't even sweat it. There's no such thing as a group of people that led this earth forever. That's nothing but fantasy talk. Okay, that's all it is. It's nothing but fantasy talk. Means nothing. And this group that's leading now, they're not going to pull it off either. Trust me, they won't. First of all, you got to have the population in order to do it. If your numbers are in the toilet and they're still not going nowhere, your rise to the top was just temporary. And this is the proof right here. You don't have to prove anything else, ladies and gentlemen. The proof is right here in your face. But y'all, please tell me what you think. America is changing, and it's changing very rapidly. I think we're going to be in for some big, big surprises as we continue to move through the year. We're going to see some big things happen. And I think the numbers, as far as the population goes, will worsen as we move along. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.